The UAP invasion. Has it begun? We're going to talk about it. Breaking news, latest headlines. Hey, everybody. I'm Rex Bear, Lead Project. How the heck are you? Hope you're having a fantastic day today. If you could let me know that the connection is live and the audio is okay, that would be much appreciated. We have a lot to talk about, plethora of notes to share with you. Wow, is that Henry Lee in the house? Ack, Paula, nice to see you. Hey, everybody. Great to have you in the chat. Shondell, everybody. All right, I would love to say hello individually to all of you, but we've got a lot of people here and we've got a lot of news, so let's just jump right in. Over the past 72 hours, there have been a multitude of sightings of unexplained aerial phenomena. We have a list of 9 different states now, and that doesn't include Germany and the Royal Air Force bases in the UK. What is the missing link? Now, these drones aren't your typical hobby drone that you can go to Hobby Lobby and purchase, or your Radio Shack down the street. Oh, wait, I think Radio Shack went out of business. These things have highly advanced characteristics, and some people are questioning, could they possibly be extraterrestrial or from a foreign adversary? Or is it Space Force? So we're going to talk about it. Before we get into that, though, I want to give a huge shout out to our sponsor, Orion Metal Exchange. Now, I don't know about you, but I've been keeping track of gold and silver now for over 10 years. And as I have been sharing with you for the past 8 to 10 years, gold and silver is a very solid opportunity. Now, there's obviously never any guarantees, but listen up, America. If you're tired of watching the government gamble with your hard-earned retirement savings, I mean, inflation's out of control. The national debt keeps climbing. Foreign powers like BRICS and illegal immigration are pushing the US dollar weaker and costs of everyday goods higher. Here's the kicker. During Trump's first term, gold prices skyrocketed, doubling in value. That's right, gold doubled. What if it happens again? Are your retirement savings ready to handle what's coming? This is why you need Orion Metal Exchange. They are America's highest rated precious metals IRA by Retirement Living, and they give you more metal for your money. Imagine converting your IRA or 401k into gold and silver, real physical wealth that you can count on no matter what. Don't wait until it's too late. Take control of your future today. Call Orion Metal Exchange now at 1-888-460-4090 and get your free investor's guide. It's packed with information you need to protect your retirement savings. You've worked way too hard to leave your future to chance. Call 1-888-460-4090 and do it now. Orion Metal Exchange is here to help you secure your wealth and stand strong as a proud conservative American. All right, buckle up, Buttercup. Let's go. Let's get into the news, shall we? Sean says all of his money's up in turquoise and crystals. Yeah, that's pretty cool. So over the past 72 hours, there has been numerous reports of mysterious drone sightings across several U.S. states, causing concerns among residents and officials. Notably, a CNN report highlighted that these sightings have been reported in actually 9 states now, because we've got Utah to add to the list, Hill Air Force Base, which is not too far from Dugway, and some people consider Dugway Area 52. However, I have a friend that worked at Dugway, and it's nothing like Area 51. It's a completely different setup out there. But anyway, we can talk about that later. New Jersey, New York, Connecticut, Maryland, Massachusetts, Pennsylvania, Virginia, North Carolina, and Utah. Yeah. Now, witnesses describe these drones as being the size of small SUVs, equipped with bright lights, capable of coordinated flight patterns. Some reports suggest they are larger than typical commercial drones and indicate advanced capabilities. You can read about that. The Sun. Now, let's talk about this for a minute because, oh yeah, we've got Maine to add to the list. And of course, as I mentioned earlier, Germany and the United Kingdom. The NFL. So I didn't watch the NFL or basketball for about like over 15 years. I used to really be into it, and then got burnt out, and I was like, you know what, I'm not going to watch this anymore. But I decided to get back into it, and just form of entertainment. And I like sportsbook a lot. But anyway, that's a whole other podcast. So it gives me something to do, And I stopped watching sports for a long time. I continued to watch mixed martial arts, but I didn't watch the NFL or the NBA for over 15 years. Started watching it again. And you know what I've realized is these NFL games, the latest trends with technologies are often portrayed in parallel or in tandem with NFL games. Like, remember when 5G was being rolled out and they were doing experiments and beta tests at stadiums at NFL games? And now we've got these amazing drone shows. Like, there was this incredible drone show at the Seahawks Green Bay game recently. And there have been a multitude of these drone shows that show hundreds, if not thousands, of drones flying in tandem, creating the most incredible displays and turning the entire, turning the air into a big giant TV. And so there was also video footage of several different UFO swarms in China where they were putting on these shows, and the drones started to fall from the sky. And what I am seeing here is this pattern of new advancements with drone technologies, and people are attempting to understand what's going on with this influx of news reports. Now, clearly, folks, you need to remember, if the news is talking about drones and UAPs constantly, and then people are going to start looking up more, and they're going to start noticing things more. And then the news is going to take the most ridiculous video where somebody's filming clearly an airplane, and they're like, dude, it's a drone. I can tell it's not an airplane. And then they play that. So then the White House can come out and say, well, the video footage that you're looking at shows no signs of illegal activity. And actually what you're looking at is an airplane. So you got to be really cautious with absolutes. And you have to realize that these word salads are very intricate, and it's oftentimes what they don't say or how they say something that explains the situation. So there are too many reports, too much going on right now in multiple states suggesting that there is absolutely drone activity going on that we can't explain, and it is not necessarily ours. Now, there could be certain circumstances where they are our technology, secret technologies, advanced type secret tech, for your eyes only kind of stuff. Not all. And I'm going to talk some more about this, and we're going to look at some of the dates and some of the timelines of specific events and connect it to this influx of drone sightings. Go back to 2019, 2020. 2019, 2020, an influx of large drones over northeast Colorado in areas where there's missile silos, nuclear silo, I think like what missile system is it? I'll go back and double check. But certain areas that are very sensitive, they pick up this drone activity, and then it kind of, people lose interest, and there's speculation about, it was a hobby drone, it was swamp gas, it was an airplane, it was Venus, it was this, it was that, but it wasn't foreign adversaries, it wasn't UAPs, nothing to worry, nothing to see here. Then it goes on, there are reports of people having weird EMP anomalies, such as their clocks are disturbed when these things fly over. Their clocks get all bizarre and change time, and then when these things fly off, their clocks go back to normal. Multiple reports of that. There are multiple reports of people 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years ago that have had encounters with UAPs that is not explained. Maybe it's not necessarily alien, but stuff that we can't explain, highly advanced technologies, and very similar situations. The clocks stop, the clocks change, the electronics start acting real weird in the car or in the house, and there's clearly this electronic disturbance. There are identical reports recently of the same thing going on. So you have to say, okay, does that mean it's reverse engineered tech, or is it the same type of craft or same technologies and organizations or groups that were doing these experiments 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years ago, possibly still to this day? because we have similarities. So we have to look at the similarities. We have to look at the dots that connect. So we have highly advanced, capable, coordinated flight patterns, larger than typical drones, advanced capabilities. The drones have been observed flying in formations, hovering over residential areas, in some cases following vehicles, often appear during nighttime hours, adding to the difficulty of identification. New York Magazine. There was an article of a sheriff that launched a drone to go after one of these drones, and then when that drone saw that another drone was launched to go after it, it basically disappeared. Attempts to intercept or identify the operators have been unsuccessful. The drones do not respond to communication attempts and have evaded capture, disappearing before authorities can reach them. New York Post. Numerous residents across affected states have reported sightings. Often, I need a drink here, man. Getting cotton mouth already. It's crazy. Kombucha. I love this stuff. Bold and smooth. Excuse me. Lots of carbonation and probiotics. Numerous residents across the affected states have reported sightings, often capturing videos and photos. In New Jersey, for instance, residents in Morris County and Ocean County have reported nightly drone activities. That's New York Magazine. Local police departments have received multiple reports but have been unable to determine the origin or purpose of the drones. Investigations are ongoing with collaboration from federal agents. What's up, Renee? Now, Connecticut. Fairfield County. Numerous reports have emerged from towns such as Fairfield, Stamford, East Windsor, and Enfield on a single night. Enfield police confirmed approximately 15 to 20 drone sightings. Stamford Advocate. Statewide reports. Connecticut State Police have acknowledged awareness of suspicious drone activity across various areas and have deployed a drone detection system to support local investigations. They assure the public that there is no known threat at this time. Let me ask you a question. Now think about this for a minute, because people seem so convinced that there's a lot of people out there. Now, once again, this is pure speculation, but there's a lot of people out there that are convinced it's not a foreign adversary and it's not ET. First of all, you can't prove that right now. There is absolutely no proof to confirm that either way. But let's say for a moment that they are from a foreign adversary. Do you think they're going to come out and tell us that there's advanced drones flying over sensitive locations that are from like Russia or China? Do you think they would actually tell us? Because could you imagine the concern? Could you imagine the uproar with the public? So it's a very sensitive and delicate situation here. You've got to be, on one hand, you've got to be extremely careful, because what if there is some type of for your eyes only operation going on, or maybe some commercial application that's completely legit and authorized at some level. But if it's a for your eyes only program, then even if you've got a top security clearance, unless you're a part of that project, you're not going to get access to that information. So you cannot shoot these things down right now. And I've read some ridiculous comments of what certain people have said, and like, you got to be really, really careful. Like, I know people that have talked about going out and doing those CE5 protocols, and then they think they see a UFO, so they're like, oh, it's a UFO. Get the green laser out, man. Get the green point laser. I wouldn't do that. I know a lot of people have, I don't know the people personally, but there's people that do that. I would not do that, because what if it's not a UFO? What if it's some type of craft that you're shooting a green laser at? You can get a lot of trouble for that, even if it's an accident. So you got to be real careful when it comes to like flight restrictions, aviation. That is no joke. And What if somebody goes out and makes a mistake? They think that there's some what if they start shooting at something that isn't a drone, but they think that it is? So now let's take this to the next level. Imagine that you are a foreign adversary and you know the protocols, you know the rules and regulations, you know the laws, and now you want to see what response is going to happen. You want to see what's going to take place. And then you've got people in like every state. So you could have like if you're going to evade capture, I've thought to myself, how are these things evading capture? And it appears that some of them are coming out of the ocean. There was a New Jersey police officer that had a body cam on, and this is according to the news reports, allegedly here, but allegedly this cop's body camera picks up about 55 different drones shooting out of the ocean. Excuse me. And then they take off and start following a 47-foot Coast Guard vessel, at least a dozen of them. So where's that footage? Because if these things are coming out of the ocean, then that means they could potentially go into some type of like submarine. There could be a submarine or some vessel that is underwater. They go in underwater and they go back to their home base. They recharge, they download all their information. And then when it's safe to launch again, it goes ahead and does so. That would be a possible scenario, maybe. And then what about like semi-trucks or vans or cars that if these things, that you could have these cars or vans or trucks placed in locations that would be difficult to pick up via satellite, whether it's under a bridge or an overpass or some type of facility actually, but then the satellites would be able to track it back to that facility. So you'd have to be launching them from different places every single day, and they were found over Langley for like 17 days. These drone sightings became very apparent November 18th and beyond. It happened also December 2023 over Langley for 17 days. And that was 71 years after the 17-day UFO flap, they called it, 1952, Washington, D.C., the capital, 17 days of UFOs and UAPs observed from eyewitnesses as well as air traffic control. And the excuse was weather anomalies. Yeah, right over the White House, right over the Capitol for 17 days. And eyewitnesses saw it too, but it was a weather anomaly. I mean, come on. Anyway, so you got 17 days of that. 71 years later, into 2023, Langley, crown jewel, U.S. military, 17 days, they fly over there. Then, after November 18th, there's this influx, this huge increase in sightings of drones with highly advanced technologies. Now, right around that time is when Russia used its new hypersonic, supersonic missile system. And there was even like a phone call, I think. I read a news article about one defense minister called up another defense joint chiefs of staff or something. Don't quote me on this. In the U.S., and they're like, hey, we're going to use this new missile. Oh, yeah? How's that? Anyway, I don't know what was said on the phone call, but well, how about that? And then there's this huge influx in sightings. And so you really have to ask the question, are these things gathering as much data as they can? And is this what happens before an invasion? What typically happens before an invasion? If you're going to go after your opposing, you want as much intel and recon as possible. You want to know where everything is. And then a lot of these bases, you could see what they're doing with satellites. So then people are asking questions like, well, why are they flying these 20-foot drones 3,000 feet off the ground over certain areas? Like, why would they need to do that? And why are they making it obvious that they're there? Well, that's a great question. If you're making it obvious that you're there and you're like playing possum or playing chicken, right? Like you're letting everybody see you, but then they can't catch you. They can't shoot you down. You already know what's going to, like, you already know the logistics because you've been studying, that, like, and then they could get you conditioned enough to think, oh, there it is again. It's just saying hello. It's just showing off. And it can make you like numb to the situation. Oh, don't worry about it. It's just those drones again. And then you've got people that think, there's so many people out there that have asked me if I think that this is being done to, like, as some type of secret agenda to create new rules and laws and regulation and get new funding and oversight and possibly even lead to further conflict and control situations. And I mean, look, I'm sure we've all thought that. And the more research I do, the more I think that there's far more to the situation than that. My current theory is there is advanced technologies that are above and beyond the military's greatest capabilities. Whether they're extraterrestrial or a breakaway civilization or a defense contractor, I don't know. I think that it's all three. I think that there has been absolutely legit sightings of certain UAPs over specific sites and locations that there has to be a narrative control system put into play. So now you could actually have a swarm of unidentified objects that could be alien, that could be a breakaway civilization. And then the official report is, oh, it's those drones again. Oh, it's just a drone. It's just the drones. Now, in parallel to that, if it is a breakaway civilization that is observing our latest and greatest technologies, there's also going to be foreign adversaries that are doing it as well. This could be a great way to beta test your latest technologies and see what the public and what the military and what everybody is going to do. And then, okay, well, we got too close. We're going to back off for a while. And then when is it time to hit next level protocols? With the recent election, with what just happened in South Korea, the South Korean president declares martial law. And then now I think he's getting booted, impeached or something like that. That happened right about the time that people were speculating a UAP invasion based upon a WebBot prediction from like 15 years ago, approximately. And a lot of people misinterpreted that WebBot prediction, but obviously you can interpret WebBot predictions any way you want. They've hit a lot of big events. I mean, I've been following the WebBots for years. I don't think the WebBots have been going on for like 5 or 6 years, but I followed them for many years back in the day. And so this timing is very interesting, all this activity that's going on. But instead of picking one or the other, I think it's all of the above. It's all of the above, folks. So quit thinking in a compartment where it's just like, oh, well, it's got to be just those dang secret agents. Oh, it's got to be those dang Russians. Oh, it's got to be those dang aliens. Like, how about maybe it's all? and now things are being mixed up and muddied because most likely these breakaway civilization technologies have been observing us for thousands of years. Go back and look at some of the Renaissance paintings. you can see what appears to be certain spacecraft that are shooting laser beams on people as they pray. And then some people are like, no, dude, that's just a star. That's just a star and the star beam that's going directly to the head. And I know it looks exactly like a flying saucer, but it's not. It's a star, okay? I mean, so whatever. But anyway, but let's get back to this. So we've got Connecticut. Surge of mysterious drone sightings prompting concerns among residents and officials. We went over that, I think. Senator Richard Blumenthal, the Connecticut senator, Nanu, has expressed strong concerns, stating that the lack of information about these drones is absolutely unacceptable. He advocates for a more aggressive approach, including the possibility of shooting down drones that pose a threat, especially when they operate over sensitive areas like airports or military bases near coast. State Senator Tony Huang, representing Fairfield County, Senator Huang has highlighted a breakdown in communication with federal authorities regarding the drone sightings. He emphasizes the need for transparency to prevent public fear and speculation. Wall Street Journal. The Department of Homeland Security and the Federal Bureau of Investigations have stated that currently there is no evidence suggesting these drone sightings pose a national security or public safety threat. They note that many reported sightings may be misidentified manned aircraft operating lawfully. And that's true. That is absolutely true. But all of them? Authorities urge residents to report any unusual drone activity to local law enforcement to aid in ongoing investigations. While the situation is being closely monitored, officials advise the public to remain vigilant but not alarmed, as there is no immediate threat identified. Stanford Advocate. So that's Connecticut. And then Maryland. Maryland has experienced a series of mysterious drone sightings. Davidsonville, former Maryland Governor Larry Hogan reported observing dozens of large drones hovering above his home, near Washington, D.C. He shared a video of the incident, expressing frustration over the lack of information from federal agencies regarding the drone's origins and purpose. New York Post. Hello! When you've got the former governor coming out saying, hey, what's going on? Here's some footage. I mean, I'm just saying. Now, there was this video of a Ring doorbell that showed this UAP that it looks kind of CGI to me. I'm not convinced it's real. And even if it is, it could be just like some of these drones, the way that they turn on their lights and move around and stuff, it's almost designed to make it look like it's a space alien. You know, it's like, or some type of space alien craft, because it's so flashy and exciting. And you could, you're a pretty smart engineer, you could create some type of remote control craft that looks like a space alien craft, or make it, what people would think it looks like, and then start flying them around, like all secret about it. And then you'd have this big stir of, look, dude, it's alien aircraft. Oh man, it's amazing. It wouldn't be hard to do something like that. That's the thing. And also with artificial intelligence and, Photoshop and just computers, it's really easy to create these like fake scenarios and videos and stuff. So you got to be real careful with that. And even if you do see something that looks like how do we really know? How do we really know? Even if these things are being, let's say they are extraterrestrial and they decide to land on the White House lawn and they jump out and they're like, hello, humans. People are going to be like, oh, that's not real. They're holograms. They were made in a laboratory. They're cloned. There's just been, I don't know. It's going to be difficult to prove to people, even if they are aliens, that they are. And it's going to be hard to prove to people that they're not. Think about that. Most people are so convinced about things that they don't listen to alternative situations. I was talking to some family the other day about the news and how the news is tailored for that group of people, whether you're watching Fox or MSNBC or CNN. And these news outlets make sure to, spoon feed the listener. They give the listener what they want to listen to. and they don't alienate the listener by talking about the other side. And that's one thing that I actually do quite a bit is, I'll talk about all sorts of different sides. So I'll get people that are upset with me because they're of a specific belief or mindset. And all I'm doing is presenting other information instead of just spoon feeding certain people. I had this one guy that went anyway, this dude is an alleged whistleblower from Antarctica. And he just like one day he like really went off on me. He started accusing me of not uploading videos because I'm a part of some secret Antarctica cabal and I don't want this information to get out. And I was trying to like talk to him, but he was pre-framing everything that he said so that if I didn't agree with him, I would sound like I was in the wrong, or I would sound like, I was like, dude, you need to stop and hold up for a minute. The video that he was complaining about, he never even heard, and it wasn't even a video. It was just a phone call that I had, and I have uploaded that phone call, by the way. You can listen to it. It's a great video. It's a great phone call. I had it with the last surviving member of the Antarctica expedition, where he went to Antarctica with Admiral Byrd. He actually went to Antarctica like 3 or 4 times. And I released that video and what he had said, but this guy was convinced that I didn't want to release it because if I did, then nobody would believe in the diary of Admiral Byrd. And I'm like, dude, I don't even think that the diary from Admiral Byrd was written by Admiral Byrd. So I don't know where you're going with this. But the reason I'm bringing this up is we're going to do our best here at Leak Project to share with you as much information as possible to give you the best available option to make up your mind. We're not going to force feed you or spoon feed any ideas your way, except for be the change you want to see. But what is that change you want to see? Well, that's up to you. So that was a long rant. And yeah, there's so many other things I want to say, but I'm not going to say it. I will hold my tongue for this one. Okay, so we've got Maryland experiencing mysterious drone sightings. The former governor saying, hey, look, I observed it myself. I want to know what's going on. There's been similar drone sightings reported in various parts of Maryland, including areas near critical infrastructures and residential neighborhoods. Residents have expressed concerns about privacy and security, urging authorities to investigate the unexplained aerial activities. Massachusetts. This is interesting. So there were arrests near Logan Airport, December 14th, 2024. 2 Massachusetts residents, Robert Duffy and Jeremy Folsick, were arrested for operating drones dangerously close to Logan International Airport. A third suspect evaded capture by fleeing in a small boat. The Boston Police Department utilized advanced UAS monitoring technology to track and apprehend the individuals on Long Island. Authorities emphasized the significant risks drones pose to aircraft, including potential catastrophic damage. Then there was the shutdown of Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. I think you heard about this if you listened to me yesterday. About the same time, drone sightings led to a temporary airspace shutdown at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Ohio. So that's actually 10 states. This incident, and there was also Nevada, so that's 11. This incident underscores the broader concerns about unauthorized drone activities near sensitive areas, Associated Press. All right, so this just happened. Night of December 13th, 2024, Wright-Patterson Air Force Base detected multiple small unmanned aerial systems operating within its airspace. In response, the base implemented a 4-hour airspace shutdown to ensure security and safety. The 88th Air Base Wing confirmed the presence of those drones, but reported no impact on residents, facilities, or assets. New York Post. So think about that for a minute this year. Think about that. I just read a comment, and I don't know why I said this year, because somebody, what? Okay. So, I mean, are you listening to this? Think about the implications. Langley, Nellis Air Force Base, Now, Wright-Patterson Air Force Base? That's a pretty big deal, folks. So you're either going to think that this is some type of secret operation where they're like testing the battlefield. They're like, hey, Bob, do you think that General Sam will mind if we launch the... We've already talked to General Sam. This is a need to know. It's just us that know. I don't know. I don't know. No, this is gonna be interesting, folks. The incident aligns with a series of similar drone sightings across the United States, New Jersey, New York. Drones have been observed near military installations, public infrastructure. We got drones over North Carolina. Several notable drone sightings. Wilson County, December 13th, residents reported multiple drone sightings over their neighborhoods. One individual observed 3 drones within a 2-hour period on Friday night. WRAL. Cleveland County, the sheriff's office received a report of drone sightings on Margrace Road. By the time deputies arrived, the drones had departed. Kings Mountain Police Chief Gerald Childress noted that no reports of drone sightings had been received within the city limits. Yahoo News. The Raleigh-Durham International Airport, October 2023. A Delta Airlines pilot reported a drone flying approximately 200 feet above his aircraft near Gate D1. The Federal Aviation Administration receives over 11 drone sighting reports monthly. Okay, so this is hot off the press. This just happened. This is in Utah. And once again, this is a very sensitive military installation. Hill Air Force Base in Utah. Base officials have confirmed these sightings, but have stated that to date, there's been no impact on base operations. All necessary measures are being taken to safeguard personnel, assets, and infrastructure. Fox 13 Now. The base is actively monitoring its airspace and collaborating with local law enforcement to track these drones, while specific details about the number of drones or their proximity to the base have not been disclosed. Officials emphasize the importance of operational security. They urge anyone observing suspicious drone activity near the base to report it to the Base Defense Operations Center at 801-777 Hill Air Force Base. These incidents at Hill Air Force Base align with a broader pattern of unauthorized drone activities near U.S. military installations nationwide. Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Ohio recently experienced airspace shutdowns due to drone sightings. The Pentagon Press Secretary, Major General Patrick Ryder, noted that while some drone sightings near U.S. bases involve concerning activity, there is currently no indication of malicious intent or public safety threats. The Verge. Unauthorized drone operations near military bases pose significant security risks and are subject to strict regulations. Interesting. The Federal Aviation Administration prohibits drone flights within 5 miles of military installations without prior coordination. Operators must adhere to all safety guidelines and are encouraged to use resources like the FAA's Before You Fly app for real-time airspace information. Hill Air Force Base. Hill Air Force Base officials are monitoring the situation closely, implementing appropriate force protection measures to ensure the safety and security of the base and its operations. They remain vigilant and are prepared to respond to any potential threats posed by unauthorized drone activities. Hill Air Force Base. Very, very, very interesting. So don't worry about it. Just a whole bunch of highly advanced drones flying over sensitive sites, and we can't catch them. No big deal. Nothing to see here. Because we're going to give you a nice word salad, and you're going to feel better, and you're going to be like, oh, okay, it's, let's go watch some more football. Yeah, I'm already getting burnt out with football. I'm trying to like it, but anyway. Man, they make a lot of money, right? Whew, man. Hey, good for them. seriously, this Hill Air Force Base thing as of this second is BS. How so? Flux? I'd be very interested to know what you mean by that. Cheers, Ro. How y'all doing? Let's see what else we got going on. Okay, Arnold, this is a question I think we need to ask, and maybe we can look into this. Besides U.S. military installations, even though they've gone over Germany and the United Kingdom, those bases are U.S. bases. Is Russia having these mysterious drones fly over their bases? Is Ukraine or any other nation having these mysterious drones fly over their bases, or are they all U.S. military bases? I think that's a very important question that we could use the answer to, because if it's just U.S. bases, I think that's going to tell us a big story of who's potentially launching these things. And, you know, as I keep saying, I'm not convinced they're all ours. I'm not even close to convinced of that. I'd say I'm quite convinced to the contrary. And I could just imagine the uproar if these are foreign drones. Could you imagine? Like, what's scarier? That they're somebody else's, potentially an enemy or an adversary, or that they're ours, or that they're extraterrestrial? Like, or what if it's all of the above? Now we're talking very interesting situation here. How are you going to control the narrative? If you're shutting down military bases, or like the airspace of a military base because of drone activity, and then you're saying that there's no threat, and then you're saying that people are looking at airplanes, and then drone command centers get released in New Jersey, and then, you know, it's this whole ping pong thing again. They're playing ping pong with people's brains. They're so good at that. It's, wow, that's an art. They did make there was a report that I read that some of these things are flying with specific frequencies that aren't typical with drones that are used that we know about. Now, I have another theory about. I've been watching too much James Bond, because there's literally people that I think everyone in here knows that might or might not have something to do with some of these aerial vehicles. Not all of them, but some of them. And it's going to make this is going to be big business, folks. Drones are going to be big business. Imagine in the near future, like personal drones. Like everybody has a personal drone that follows them around and records everything that they do. And it's then linked to their implant, which is then linked to the satellite. So everything you do is basically blockchained, and then you've got like this personal drone that follows you around. Yes, master, what would you like to know today? I mean, forget a robot. You've got a drone that can do it. You got like a drone robot now that follows you around. Oh, man. People are going to get rid of their dogs and cats. They're just going to have like these personal drones with Chat GPT built into it that follows them around and does all their tasks for them. And then I'm just going to be thinking about the Anunnaki, like how the Council of the Gods thousands of years ago were talking about how, you know, they were talking about whether to flood the earth or not. After they made people, they're like, man, look at all these guys. They're just going Wow, what are we going to do? And the council's like, well, we could create a flood. Yeah, but we need to make a boat and save some of them. We need to tell them, obviously this is just mythology, but it's interesting to think about, right? The gods made us to do the work for them, and now we're making artificial intelligence to do the work for us. And then pretty soon we're going to have like the pod people. So the drone will eventually create the drone will become the pod, and the person will go inside of the pod, and they'll live in perpetuity inside of the pod. It's like a prequel to The Matrix. I can already see it. Forget SimCity. You've got Super Sin City. We blockchain everything now. We have it linked to this new patent. It's called WO 0. Oh, you know that patent number. I don't even need to say it. Where it actually, like, once you do the task that you're supposed to do, then you get paid in this digital currency. And look up who owns the patent to that. It's, wow. It's pretty amazing. Shall we pay him now or later, Bob? I don't know. What is he thinking? Blockchain it. We've got it on the ledger now. We know what you thought when we showed you that video. Yes. Yes, okay. Pay him the digital coin now. He is a part of our propaganda machine. Pavlov's dog. So I just did one of the most incredible interviews with Dr. Kevin Hogan. Dr. Kevin Hogan is probably, if not one of the best conversational hypnotherapist, or like, he's so good at conversational hypnosis that you don't even know you're like hypnotized, but you're hypnotized. And he's so good at influence and understanding the human mind and mapping it out. He's written like 25 books, many of them bestsellers. The Psychology of Persuasion, Covert Hypnosis, or just to name a couple. But he's a good friend of mine. And we had like a 2.5 hour interview the other day where we were talking about actual MK Ultra techniques that have been used, what was used before that, and why that became a thing. And he was talking about like certain, back in like the 50s, I think, and the 60s, certain prisoners of war were essentially brainwashed into doing into thinking a certain way. And the way that it was done was like with these gradual questions that if you answered right, you would be rewarded. And if you didn't answer right, then you would be tortured. And since the evolution of these tactics, we now have things like memes and social media, where the old school techniques are like, there's new stuff that you can use now where you don't need to do the kind of things you did back then that are being implemented. And you need to listen to that interview. You really need to go listen to it. It's on Patreon. That is, when he was talking about the techniques on how to manipulate the mind. And then there were a couple experiments done, I think one in the 60s, and then there was this TV show in France that was adapting this experiment done. Did you see that experiment where, I don't remember the name of it, where you've got people that are going into this, like they think they're going into a hospital basically, and there's this wall, and there's somebody behind the wall, and the doctor or the professor tells that person that the person on the other side of the wall is trying to quit smoking. So they have to, and the way that they quit smoking is if they answer a question wrong, then you zap them with this button and it gives them an electronic shock and it shocks them. And these people are pushing the button, shocking the person on the other side. Now, they're not really shocking the person on the other side, but they think they are, because in the experiment, they think that they think this is a real situation, but this is all just it's a big experiment. But people push the button until the person on the other side quit making noise. So they're literally zapping somebody, or they think they're zapping somebody, not literally, but they think they're zapping somebody on the other side because a authority figure is telling them to. And the person on the other side, like when they push the button and they think they're shocking them, the person on the other side at first, they're just kind of like, ow. And then they get a couple more questions wrong and they're like, ow, ow, oh my gosh, ah. And then the professor's like, no, it's okay. That they signed up for it, so just keep pushing the button. And then the percentage of people that push the button until like they thought that the person on the other side was gone, the percentage is insane. And then they did a game show in France about it, and the percentages are even higher. It's scary, folks. So the reason I'm telling you this is because we got to use discernment, and we got to like have an open mind, but not so open that our brain falls out of the sidewalk, and just be prepared, not scared, be aware of the situation, and kind of like do our best to go with the flow, I guess. Like some of these ridiculous comments that I've read after certain events have taken place over the past couple of weeks, especially, like, seriously? I don't know. I'm just saying, like, be careful about that kind of stuff. Yeah. It's pretty wild. Yeah, like, well, they're just following orders. Like, when do you get to the point where you're like, oh, man, do I push the button again? Did they really sign up for this? What am I doing? It's scary. Yeah, it's pretty wild. Yeah, I like the videos where the title is Clear High Definition Photo of Mystery Drone. And it looks like somebody took a picture of a star that's, 50,000 light years away, because all you see is this big blurry blob. It's so clear. It's high definition. I mean, whatever. Buckle up, Buttercup. Let's go. And on that note, I hope you all have a... What do you mean, Ryan? Hold on a second. What's going on, Ryan? Oh, you mean because I used to have 4,500 videos and then I took them down and now I've only got like 400. Well, you can watch all the videos on leakproject.com and Patreon. And yeah, it's all good. Well, I say be prepared, not scared. And make sure to jump on over to Patreon, folks. I could definitely use your support over there, and I think you'll definitely be happy you spend $5 a month with me or more on Patreon, because I have thousands of hours of exclusive content there and like unfiltered, unedited, long format interviews with amazing guests. And I think you'll definitely appreciate it. And much love, everybody. Be the change you want to see. And remember, it's all just a live action role play. Nanu, nanu.